is up, powerlifting friends? I'm Solana Lewis, the owner of Solana Lewis Training and the host of the Power and Lifting podcast. Today, we are diving into an interview with Jasmine Idrogo. Jasmine just competed at USAPL Raw Nationals, her first time ever competing at Raw Nationals, placed fifth in the open weight class, and it was her third competition ever. She is a rising star in the 69 kg weight class and in powerlifting in general. So if you haven't already, be sure you hit subscribe, like the video if you like it, and tap the bell to be notified when the next video comes out. So without further ado, let's roll the interview. Alrighty, so y'all, if you don't know who this is Jasmine Idrogo. Sorry, I can't roll my R's for y'all. But she's only competed in three, if y'all can see me, I'm holding up 3 fingers, 3 powerlifting meets. And the third one she did was freaking USAPL Raw Nationals, where she placed 5th in the 69 kg weight class.
Some scary stuff.
I know! It's crazy, yo. Oh, yeah. So we gotta back it all the way up, because we gotta know, like, how did you even get into lifting? Because I feel like everything happened in a snap of a finger or something.
Yeah, like it's been a crazy journey. So I remember, and I'm assuming that you mean powerlifting. So I grew up
in both.
Okay.
Like, well, I mean, lifting and then powerlifting.
Yeah, like, so I grew up in a town that's like further south from San Antonio. So it's like way closer to the border, Laredo, and they do not have, my high school team did not have a powerlifting team, none of that. But I was like kind of always playing volleyball. That's my first love. I played everything in volleyball, every single position you could name. I did it. I love it. I would love to go back, but I think I got injured more there than I ever did in any other sport. So volleyball, I had to like cut it. I loved it so much that I even coached it for a while after I was
done. My God.
But yeah, I played volleyball in college. So that's how far I went. Like I was there for years. Yeah.
What division?
What division? It was the NCAA. It was the third, what is it? I even forgot. It's a junior college, but it was like in the region of Texas. It was one of the hardest ones. So even though it wasn't like a Division 1 school, it was like a Division 3, but junior college, but it was still like pretty tough. So we played against schools mostly in Texas and then all over like the southern region. So I remember traveling a lot for those games, and it really got tiring though. Like because I always knew I wanted to do like a lifting sport, you know? So volleyball just kind of like filled in the slot for me. But in high school, I was always like, where's the powerlifting team? I was around the guys all the time. I was lifting weights with the football players. Like I was lifting weights. I was, I think, the only person in track and field that was like throwing shot put, and I was like the tiniest thrower, but it's because I was always lifting weights. Like I had big shoulders. Like I was strong, you know, and I wanted to just like do more and more and more. So I know that my coaches never really insisted on a girls powerlifting team. Not many girls wanted to do it. I got like 3 people, and then they were like, you need a team of at least 6. And I was like, damn it. So I never got to do powerlifting in high school. Moved on to college, played volleyball, and I was lifting weights like bodybuilding style. The only thing I did with a barbell was squats.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, I was the big squatter. I didn't know how to bench. I didn't know how to deadlift. No one ever taught me anything. So I was just kind of like lifting weights, living my life, doing volleyball, coach volleyball. Then I was doing the whole typical, I want to do a bodybuilding show, and I never did it, but I was lifting weights like it. And then I was in Houston for a while. Then I came to San Antonio, and UTSA is like infamous for powerlifting. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got into talking to people from there about like powerlifting, and I was like, how do I get started? And they're like, you can start, there's these major 2 federations, USPA, USAPL. Cool. I asked more questions about it, and then everyone was kind of just leaning more towards like, well, the USAPL, and then you can join the college team. And I was like, cool. I never really joined the college team, but I got a coach and I started. Okay. Then with that coach, I kind of learned the basics for like 3 months, and then me and that coach didn't work out, so I kind of just like went solo. And then I found LS McClain, and we have been working together since. And he is a goofball, but I love him so much. And that's kind of how this whole journey started. I learned how to like properly squat and deadlift like in maybe April of 2020. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like only 14 months ago is when you learn how to like use a barbell properly.
And like actually learn how to lift like a power lifter. Like pause before you squat and then do the squat and then like wait and then rack and then bench. Like don't just pop it off your chest. Like you gotta control it. And then deadlift too. Like I've always just felt comfortable pulling sumo, and so that's just been my thing. But my first PR was like 285. I was like, I overthought it. I watched the video and it's so funny. I'm doing the whole hip shoot back and forth, and I'm like, should I pull it? Should I not? Should I pull it? Should I not? And then I just pulled it and it ripped off the floor, and I was like, cool. It was so fun. It was so fun. I look back and I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. And that's it. I've slowly just fallen more and more and more in love with it. So
Dude, you just learned. You're like a baby lifter, but like not because like you're like so strong.
it's something I've always wanted to do. So it's like now that I have a hold of it, I'm like, I'm not letting it go.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my god.
15, dude. I'm 25. I'm to turn 25 next Wednesday. So it's been like 10 years of yearning of just wanting to do it. You know? You
Uh-huh.
happy birthday, happy late birthday, but you just had a
Thank you.
birthday. So
Happy early birthday.
thank you. It's been like 10 years of wanting to do this. And now that I'm finally doing it, go all in.
Yes. By the way, hashtag cancer gang. Anyways, so and you're turning 25, right?
Yeah.
I just turned 25. Yeah, it's awesome.
The best.
How did you find LS?
It was funny, man. Like I think I found him primarily through Instagram, but I really kind of like latched onto him because he's just so lighthearted when he lifts. And I was like watching his IPF competitions, and this dude is like laughing before he goes on, and he's like sticking out his tongue, and I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, is he not like serious? But he lifts some serious weight, but he's just so like lighthearted. And then another thing that really like caught my eye was that he devotes most of himself to like social movements and like I'm sure you heard of his McClain circle, and like all the proceeds go to different donations, and it's different things every month, and it's just that constant like giving back is what really like kind of made me gravitate towards him. And then I remember like it was so funny. Just the way he is so like not typical. So I was like, why is he like this? But it works. And now it's kind of like our personalities are meshing together, and it's great. Like I just went to his baby shower. He's having a baby. And so like his girlfriend is like, yeah, like, it's great. And I just feel like I fit in so well, and like the whole family feel is just amazing. It's great.
Oh my god. Okay, well, first of all, I did not know he's having a baby. That's super exciting. But I do want to say, like, when I first saw him, I only met him recently, like, in person at the at Nationals. But, like, I first saw him 2018 Raw Nationals, like, my first Raw Nationals ever. I'll never forget because I was watching Prime Time. I wasn't Prime Time yet. And I'll never forget, he came out for his first squat, saw one of the spotters, clearly knew him, and gave him a high five and, like, had a conversation for 10 seconds. And I'm looking at the timer, like, but the timer's on. Like, but timer's on, and this is prime time. Like, I thought you're supposed to look pissed off, and you're supposed to be like, and I was like, yes, and like, like
all that.
Oh my god! I'm like, yo, this is like the most chill person I've ever seen. Like, I'll never forget that about him. So I'm sure having him as a coach is like the same feel. It's like, even though he's definitely pushing you to be better, he's still not like, don't make this your whole life. Like, you can chill too. Like, it's not.
Girl, yes. Like the very first time we met on Zoom, yeah, it was Zoom. We had like a call because I was like, okay, let's get this ball rolling. I remember he was like, take whatever you're doing, stop doing it. Next week you're gonna max out, and that's what we're gonna work off on. And I was like, but I've done this already. He's like, no, like we're gonna go off like what you can do next week. Like, I don't care what you've done. I don't know. Like, you're gonna go in there and do what you can next week. And I was like, even with all, he was like, yes, with whatever training stimulus and fatigue you got going on, just max it. I want to see what you can do now, and we'll work off of that. And I was like, okay, this is really weird, but I did it. And then we did a FaceTime or like a call, and he was like, how many days do you train? And I was like, usually 6, like going every fucking day, right? And he was like, oh no. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're only gonna train 4 days. And I remember asking him, like, what am I gonna do for those 3 other days? He was like, rest, dummy. I was like, what do you mean? Like, that's too much time. And now it's like blessed. Like, I love my rest. Like, just before this, I took a nap because I was like, I'm gonna go sleep for a little bit. I was like, I gotta feel good. And it's been wonders. But I remember like that first conversation was, he was like, so if you ever like really had to like stop powerlifting, would you be okay? And I was like, well, yeah and no, but like I wouldn't make it my whole life. He's like, I don't want you to, like don't make it that, it's not that serious, like he's like, nobody cares about powerlifting other than powerlifters. And I'm like, you're so right. So he's like, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like go out there and have fun, you know? So that's what really helped me get through nationals, because it was so overwhelming for me. It really was. I didn't think it was gonna be that way, but it really was.
Well, okay, it was your first big meet. But
Yeah.
like, wait. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, sorry. I was just, yeah, it was the first, I was like, oh my God, all these women that I follow are here and they're in my warm up room. Like, what the heck? It was
I do
insane.
think I do think like the first time you go to nationals, like you do get that starstruck because you're like, you start looking at people on Instagram and you're like, yo, you're so strong. And you're like, so I'm gonna see you in person. And then with this particular nationals, like with like no prime time, like the bigger lifters were just in the group, like they're just there.
Yeah. And there was only so many lifters that got to go. So it was like, holy crap. Like Heather O'Connor's like warming up back there. And then you have like Sam Calhoun, and she's super sweet. And then you have this, and I'm warming up on the same rack as Kristen Dunsmore. Like, what is this? It was crazy. It was crazy. And I remember specifically thinking, like, after the meet, I was like, what was I doing? I was so, because I study counseling.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to school, I'm getting that done. I just need internship. So I remember specifically, like, not that, Kristen did really bad, but it wasn't like her best performance. And I remember like sitting next to her and I was like looking at her like, are you okay? And my coach was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just want to make sure everyone else is okay. He's like, what about you? Like, you just missed this second deadlift or your second squat and you're making sure everybody else is okay. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with that? And he was like, why are you like, worry about yourself? And he's like, you're here to beat people. And I was like, well, yeah, but like, they're not having a good time. Like, it was, I so wish I didn't do that, but it's like, I don't know what came over me. I was just like trying to make sure that like everybody was okay, It was so weird.
Well, I think it shows like you got a big heart, like when you're in the back and you're worried about other people. Meanwhile, it's like they're just like trying to stay focused in their own head. And it's gonna take you some time to like get that. Like it really will, because again, your first big meet, right? So like the first one, and we're gonna talk about your first ones, because I want to hear about them. But like your first and second one, I'm sure they're like, more chill. It's probably people who've never competed before. So you're just in the back trying to figure out, like, just making sure you get on the platform on time. That's like your goal. Like, if I get on it, I made it. Like,
you know? Or
and
like, like, oh shit, my name was called. Like, oh.
very different, right? So like when you go to a bigger meet, it's like, oh wait, these people have been doing it for years. Like I think overall, I try not to like talk to other people. Oh man, I'm trying to get in my zone. But at the same time, it's like it's not bad if you're talking to them. I'm sure they weren't like, I hate you. They probably didn't pay attention to you. They probably put their earphones in.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone was in their zone, and I was like in and out of my zone. And I wish I would have just like stayed in my zone. It would have been like, I'll get with y'all later. But I'm such a, like, I talk to you and I don't blow people off, that I was just going, and people would talk to me and I'm like, oh, and then over here I'm like, oh, and over here I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go with you. Like, it was so, like, I wish I could have turned that off, like it's like a switch, So you live and you learn. And then also the warm-up room was freaking cold. Okay, like, girl, I lived in a warehouse outside every day. Like, I'm sweaty and hot, and it's Texas heat. So I was like looking around and I was like, nobody else is cold. Like, I'm freezing over here. Like, I'm warmed up, but damn, I'm cold. Like, what is this? So my coach was like, next time now, take some sweats with you. And I'm like, yeah, because I did not even break a sweat. And the whole time I was lifting there, no sweat.
I'm not gonna lie, I walked in there and I was like, before I got there, I was like, I don't know, I don't need sweatpants. Like, it's hot down here. I walked in, I was like, yep, shit about sweats. I am cold. Like, I am cold. I hate being cold before I go compete. Like, that's the worst feeling to me.
Yeah, I was like, am I even ready to squat right now? Like,
Right?
I can, like, my legs feel good, but they don't feel warm. Like, what? is going on? It was so weird. I was probably one of the only, and now that I know that you were probably complaining about the AC, like I was like, am I the only one complaining about this air conditioning? Like, it's cold in here. Can we turn it up? Like,
And they're gonna be like, no, we cannot turn it up. Actually, it's hot outside. I'm like, we're not outside.
super hot outside, but it wasn't anything new to me. I was like, I was wishing that it was like hotter in there. I don't know.
I feel you. So let's back it up to your first meet, though. Like, were you with LS for the first meet, or were you still with the other coach?
No, I was with him. I was with him. That's how it happened. The other coach, remember asking, I want to do this meeting. He was like, no, like we're gonna sign you up for this one. And I was like, I don't even get to pick my own meet. Like, so I remember that totally like knocked us off. And I was like, you know what? Like, it was great working with you. I learned a lot, but I'm gonna just move on. And then I was kind of like solo for like 4 weeks trying to figure it out. And then that's when I hopped on the LS train, right? And I told LS, I was like, I want to do a meet, my first one in September. And he was like, bet. And he was like, you're officially what, 2 months out. So here you go. We're gonna start your peak, right? And Texas Strength Systems, my gym, I love it so much. Oh my gosh. If you're ever in Texas, hit it up. We'll take care of you. But we do a lot of like meets towards the end of the year. And I was like, it'd be really cool to compete at my home gym. So I want to do that one. And LS isn't too far from me. He lives in New Braunfels, which is like 45 minutes out. But like, I remember I thought it was just going to be him, but like the whole circle crew showed up. Like I had an entourage, both my first meets. Like I did not touch a weight. Everybody was like, you good? Whole crowd there. Like it was the whole circle family showed up. Like all of them from New Braunfels and anywhere in San Antonio and Austin, they all drove to the meet. And it was really cool. It feels like a family is there for you. So first meet, I was so nervous, shaking in my shoes, like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then like after the first squat, I think I just like completely fell in love. Like I think being on the platform is so blissful and like everything just goes away. It's just you and the bar, and you just hear like either your coach's like voice or whoever's in the crowd for you, like all you hear is like that, and you'll hear the commands. And I don't know how else to describe it. Like every time I step on the platform, it's bliss. Like I can't hear anything but what I'm supposed to hear. I don't know how to explain it. Like only what I'm supposed to know to hear is what I hear. And ever since then, every single attempt, it's like complete bliss. I'm super addicted.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's true though. Like it's this tunnel vision that you never experience, right? Because you know how like, I don't know, you might watch a movie or you might hear someone explain like, oh, I was so focused, like I just couldn't hear anything else. And like, you're like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, really, yeah.
everything else. But like when you get on the platform, like I just see the ref, I hear my coach say something, and I see the barbell, and that's it. Like
And
after, yup. And you hear your own cues in your head, and like that's it. And it's like it truly is a feeling that you like don't ever get, in my opinion, outside of like competing.
No, training sucks.
Oh yeah, I hear everything. I freaking see the guy walk from the camera on my peripheral vision. I'm like, bro, really? Like that's me, yo.
You see someone's butt crack when they're like shirts too low, you're like, oh my God, you smell all these nasty things. Mm-hmm. Little old the knee sleeves over there, like you smell them from across the room. But man, training sucks compared to competing, but competing makes it all worth it. Like, oh my gosh, I wish everyone can feel what it feels like to be on a platform. That's why I tell everyone, if you haven't competed yet, like just do it. Just do it. You're gonna love it, and if you don't have someone there for you, like I'll be there for you. I just met someone yesterday and she was like, I don't know, I want to compete. I'm here from South Carolina. And I was like, do it. I'll handle you, girl. Like, just do it. So it's just something that I want everyone to experience, especially when you love something that much. Like, I don't think I've ever felt like that, even in a volleyball game.
Yeah. And by the way, I meant to mention this, like my first love was volleyball too. I played volleyball from 6th grade through my senior year. I was not good enough to go to college.
You probably were. You were just in a hard state. Like,
not even that, I went to like a tiny little Christian school where no one knew you, so like nobody got to do anything. But that was also my first love. But I was gonna say too, like one question. So I'll do like ask me anything, especially with having a podcast. I'm trying to get like everyone heard, like especially woman man. Like my passion is getting more women in the sport, whoever you are, and I want y'all to be heard because there's a lot of podcasts that have mostly men, some women, but like more men than women.
Here and there.
Exactly, right? And like a big question I get, when am I ready to compete? I'm like, do you have legs and arms?
They
Then go.
you have the love for it, just go. Like
Exactly.
and I love what you're doing too. I love it so much. I was so excited. You're like, you want to interview me? I was like, yes, I do. From that short
Now,
conversation we had, like with the Starbucks thing, I was like, oh, I love her so much. My boyfriend was like, and I was like, Solana. He's like, I have no idea. And he doesn't even know the guy lifters. I'm like, oh my God, that's like so and so over there. I was at Nats like fangirling over even the guys too. And he was like, I don't know who they are. He's like, if it ain't you, I don't care. I was like, oh, stop. Like,
well, I think it's good to have someone next to you who's like, I just care about you. And then you're like, what? Ah! Like, that's how, girl, that's how it is if I bring my friend or like my mom. Like, same thing. I'm like, mom. And she's like, I don't care.
It's too much to care about. And he tells me, he's like, you care a lot about everybody. I'm like, I really do. I was so exhausted after the meet because I was like making sure everyone was good. I was like, oh my gosh, and this person here and that person there. And he was like, whatever. I was like, babe, I met Sam Calhoun. He's like, who? I was like, Sam Calhoun. How do you not know her? I was like giving him lessons and teaching him and like showing him Instagrams. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, I
No,
want
that's
to introduce
awesome.
you. And he was like, nah, I'm good.
Hey, it's all good. As long as you got to meet them, that's
I
all that
did.
really matters.
I met everybody that I wanted to meet. It was amazing.
Yes. And what was I gonna say next? First of all, when I first heard about you, it was because I was looking. So obviously, I was interviewing people before nationals too to like hype it up a bit.
Okay.
And as I'm looking through 69 kg, I'm like, Jasmine Idrogo. I haven't seen his name before. Let me like go look up her Instagram. And I'm looking at your numbers. I'm looking at your lifts, and I'm like, she just started. Like I went to USAPL lifting database. I'm like, she just started. Like she just did like 2 little meets, and like she's here. Like she's gonna do. And I'm looking at her numbers. And I'm like, who is this? Like she's like coming in hot, like coming in hot. And then when I did my podcast with Claire, the second place,
Claire. Yes.
yes, she mentioned you, and she's like, did you hear that interview? Like she hyped you up.
No, I didn't. I haven't had a chance to. There's like that one, and then my roommate does another one. It's just so many podcasts. I need to get to her episode though, and then I listen to like two white lights every like now and then, but not too crazy.
Girl, it's okay. There's more people going into podcasts, powerlifting interview space.
A lot. There's one that just tagged me, and I'm like, I didn't even know who you guys were. Like, suppose that they were like talking about my 407 squat, like in training. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But I haven't even listened to it either. So I need to go back and listen to that one. But if you want to tell me what she said, that's cool. But I'll go back and listen to it.
No worries, girl. She basically just, when we were talking about like how it's going to be a battle for the whole podium, and we were like, Chandler Bab's going to take it, and then like second, third, fourth, and fifth place is just a toss up. And she was like, I think it'd be amazing if Jasmine Idrogo just came in and like slaughtered everybody. Like she's like, I don't know what she's going to do, but she's going to be amazing. Basically,
about next year.
She was talking about 2021 this year.
Oh my God.
Because we did it before nationals went on.
That's probably why. Yeah. I didn't know. I wanted to hit 500 keys, but I was like, that would have been a lot on my body. It would have probably been possible, but it was a lot, like judging the way I felt that day, because you never know what's going to happen, you know?
Word.
But yeah, it was an amazing experience anyway. And I like was grateful for how it turned out, because it could have gone worse, you know? Could have gone way worse.
It definitely could have. And I want to talk about, because first couple meets you did, so first meet, you went 9 for 9.
Yeah.
So you killed it, went 9 for 9. Second meet, we had a couple misses. I think you missed your second and third bench and second and third deadlift.
It was just second and third bench that I missed. Everything else, second and third bench. And that was something that me and McClain had to work through, because I remember specifically telling him, like, bench doesn't feel good. I need to bench more. Like, you're not pushing me enough. And I remember him meeting me with it. More isn't always better. And I was like, all right. So I just stuck with it. Went to the meet and we attempted 209, and I completely could not get it off my chest. And he was like, okay. He was like, maybe you're right. We'll work on your bench. And I was like, thank you. So we pushed bench and 22-pound PR. Like,
huge
PR on bench. And I could have pushed more on bench at Nets, but he was like, his plan was deadlifts, and deadlifts weren't feeling too great the whole like prep. But you know, it's just a game of like, what kilos can you put where, you know? And so I think I'm also learning more as a lifter to like be able to make my own calls at meets too. not completely like overstep, but like, hey, trust me, like I can bench this. Like just let me try it. I think I'm gonna get more comfortable doing that. But at first I was like, you just call the numbers, I'll do it. Like you just call it.
Well, that's how it always starts, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do or where we are. Where am I? Am I dreaming? Like, just put something down. I'm going to try to go out there. But as you continue to compete, you start to be like, you know what? Like, I really know what my body can and can't do. I know how I feel today. I know if I feel stronger, if I feel So when you start to understand how you feel, because like we do the same 3 movements like 17 billion times a week for like the whole year.
Girl,
And
yes. Like I'm so tired of this.
it's like you're tired, but you love it. But by the time it gets to the platform, you're like, I know what a good bench day feels like and what a good bench day does not feel like. So I know what I can do.
Exactly. So I think I'm gonna get more comfortable doing that. But like he's still at Nats, I was like, I think I can. He was like, why are you here at the attempt table? And I was like, all right, I'll go sit down. So he's still kind of like trying to be a little like, get over there, don't call. But I feel like later on we'll be able to like negotiate. Hey, like can we push bench a little more? Like I feel like I got way more in the tank. Like I felt like I had a good 10 to 15 pounds still on my bench.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's big for bench.
Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to push it. I wanted 230 something, but we didn't push it. He was like, we'll push it on deadlift. And then I got a hitch call and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into like the squat first because then I'm going to talk about your bench and deadlift. So squats move swimmingly well, it seemed like.
Surprisingly, it didn't feel good.
How did it not feel good?
The opener felt slower than what it looked like. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty fast. I was like, yeah, we'll do the next attempt because we have a worksheet that we work through. And I was like, I'll do the next one that we plan. Cool. He put 407. I thought I was like in the hole, but I was actually the one that was called. So I had already wasted 20 seconds just chilling in the back. And they were like, oh, wait, it's Jasmine. And I was like, so I got all my wrist wraps, chalked my hands up. I went out there, took out my headphone. I don't even know where I left it. I just ran out there. And the lady calling the names was like, the judge, she was like, you have 40 seconds, but it totally just, I was like, I got to get this lift. So I like went to the platform. I did not like take my time or slow down or whatever. I unracked it. It felt light. But as soon as I went down, I like bent forward and I was like, oh, like it's too much weight to try and like fight it back up. So I just like let it go. So I was like, I'm not going to get hurt. So I just let myself like, I re-racked it with the spotters and I was like, I was mad, right? But because my handler, which was not LS, it was another person, was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I looked at it wrong. I was like, you're good. Like, it's not your fault. But I was obviously still kind of like upset that I didn't get it. I was upset at myself, but I just went into like, I'm not talking to anyone. And LS was like, hey, like, you're doing good, whatever. Because after that, my immediate thought was like, oh my God, you're not going to get the next one. And then bench is going to go bad. And then and I was like, stop. I had to like snap myself out of it. And LS was trying to like prep me up and like talk to me like you the baddest squatter here. Like he was trying to do all that. And I was like, I'm good. You can be quiet. It's okay. I put my headphones in. Just focus. And then he was like, you good for the next one? I was like, I'm good. And he was like, all right, cool. So then we went. But like, I remember I had to like tell him to stop. I was like, stop trying to hype me up. Like, it's not working. I just got to focus, I was like, no more games. I got to focus on this squat. I got to get this one at least. That was my goal, right? So I ended up coming back getting that. And then it was cool. We had a little celebration and everything. And I was like, all right, cool. Took a break. And I think afterwards he came and talked to me. He was like, I don't think you know how hard that was, like to come back after missing a squat. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, like a lot of people just like choke up after that. And I was like, you serious? I didn't know, right? Because I had never missed a squat ever. That was the first time in competition that I ever missed a squat. And that's my favorite lift. So it stung. It stung a little bit. And I was upset, but I was like, at least I got what I wanted, right? 185. I wanted 195 that meet, but it's okay. We'll get it next time, right? But I remember that was a really scary moment. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just missed a squat. Like, I never miss a squat. Like, what the hell? Like, I was freaking out. But then I came back and I got it. And I was like, cool. I mean, now it's the next lift, right? Like, you got to worry. They got to pick your battles,
And I think that's what I want to talk about with you. Like, I don't think you realize how hard it is to come back after failing.
I didn't realize how hard it was. I was like, I've done it in training. And then I've done like 402 for like a 2x1. In the same day. Like I was like, I should get this. That's how my mind goes. It's like, I should be able to squat this number. Like I've rested enough. I've done all the work. Like I just need to do it. But it was messing with me in my head. And I was like, well, why didn't I get it the second time? Like the second time, like the first time I tried it, why didn't I get it? So I really just had to like narrow it down to like, okay, you got to just stay vertical, keep your head up, don't tilt forward, like take your time and like breathe through your belly, not with your chest. Like I had to like talk to myself like that. And then after I did that, I was like, okay, cool. And it felt normal. I squatted and I was like, it felt just like training. Great. Cool. Like, let's go on to bench now, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how hard it was until like a bajillion people told me that. Even when I came back home, they were like, how did you come back after missing that squat? I was like, I don't know. Like, I just told myself to do it. Like,
but that's what you have to do. You have to be like, okay, like I know I can get this. Let me just focus on the next one. And just like you mentioned, you were like, oh no, I'm starting to think about bench and dead. Like, no, you have to make yourself focus on that one lift coming up, because if you start thinking about deadlift during squats, like it's already over.
Over. Yeah, it's over. You know, so I just pick your battles and I was like, just narrow your focus down on like getting that squat. And then yeah, so thankfully that happened, but I did have to cut LS off. I was like, look, I appreciate the hype, but I like, he was like, these girls are trying to catch up to you. And I was like, look, stop. Like, you're going to make this back up at this point.
You're like, bro, I know these people by name. Don't even come over here and tell me. Don't tell me. Chandler Bass trying to catch up. All right.
But it was like pressure because I was one of the top squatters there. Like it was me, Gabby, and Ellen Liverpool. She squatted 187.5. So she had 2.5 more kilos than everybody. But like we were the top squatters. So in my mind, I was like, I have to get the squat. Because that's the thing. Like me with squat, it's a pride thing. Like that's my lift. You know, it's like I need to get it. So yeah, like I just had to like reel it back and just calm myself down and just go out there and execute it. I remember specifically playing Diva by Beyonce in my headphones to like I was like, I got this. And I went out there and I was like, all right, squat time. Like I remember that was the right song.
I love it. I had some Beyonce on my Meet Day playlist too, by the way.
Heck yeah. She gets you in the mood, you know?
She does, yo. All right, so bench press. How do you feel about bench press? Like in general, do you like it or you're like, meh?
I'm starting to love it. Because now I'm getting like better at it. You know, like now I'm like, oh, I'm in the 200s for reps now. Like I never thought I'd see the day, you know? And I remember the second meet. We didn't talk about the second meet, but it wasn't, you know, I missed those two benches, but I remember like before warming up for bench, like I told LS, I was like, I don't want a lift off. And he was like, why do you want to do all the work? Like let the spotters do the work. And I was like, I just don't train with a lift off, so I don't want one now. And he was like, no, you're taking a lift off. I was like, all right. So I did. And I don't like to blame it on that, but it's like, it was an extra factor in there that I hadn't like factored in my training. Like I had always did self lift offs. So I told him at Nats, I was like, I looked him in the face and I was like, I don't care what you say. I'm not benching with wrist wraps and I'm not benching with a lift off. And he was like, I was like, I'm not, like, just let me do my thing on bench. I was like, I figured it out. It clicks. It feels really good. Like I'm really confident about bench this time. Because that was my biggest insecurity, because I was always like in the 190s. Like I couldn't catch up to everybody there was benching like over 240. Like, so I told him, I was like, just let me do my thing, let me vibe. I don't want to wear wrist wraps and I don't want to lift off. And he was like, you sure? He was like, then you benching raw. I was like, yes. So I went out there. I think I was the only one without wrist wraps on.
Probably.
Yeah, I was
not bad.
Wrist wraps on, and like the spotter was like, lift off, and I was like, nah.
Nah, bro, I'm good.
I felt bad. I was like, I'm good. I don't need you.
Girl, I did the same thing. It's the first meet I ever did no lift off.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels crazy. Like it feels good. It feels better. I feel like more loaded. Like I'm like, I got this, you know?
Yeah, like because I'm at gym, I'm not around enough people who powerlift. Like there's powerlifters there, but like whenever I go to bench, like there's no one decent there. And like I've been doing self lift off since like the pandemic hit, and I'm like, you know what? It's been over a year.
Might as well.
Self lift off. Like no, you can't be having me out here. And then so you just got into nationals, but you don't know that there's a guy. Oh Lord, I forgot his name. My bad. But there's a guy who always is there for nationals, always does the lift offs. And he wasn't there. Like my guy wasn't there. I was like, no. He's not here. Literally, I was like, if he's not here, then everybody get the hell away from me. Not
don't touch my heart.
Literally, like the dude when he came over, I did the same thing as you. I put my finger up. I said, no, sir.
You can back that ass up.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny. LS was like, you don't have to give him that much sass. I was like, I just don't need him. And he was like, okay, look at you all proud and whatnot. And he was like, I take the lift off. And I was like, that's cool. You do you, boo boo. And I walked away.
That's okay. And then was it your bench press that you also came back from a no lift?
No, it was just squat and deadlift.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I may be
Yeah,
remembering wrong.
you're good. There's too many lifters and too many people you've been interviewing. It's not a big deal. It was just like bench was like literally the only thing that I was legit playing around like a little kid. Like I got off the bench and I was like, yeah, with LS. And like we were like hugging each other. And he was like, you feel good? I was like, I feel great. Like I feel like I can bench press the world right now. And he was like, good. He was like, we might take it down a notch so that we can push it on deadlift. And I was like, fine. Like I rolled my eyes and I was like, all right. And he was like, what? I was like, no, it's okay. I just wanted 231. And he was like, look, we'll save that and we'll move it on to deadlift. And I was like, okay, so where am I finishing at? He's like, we'll play it safe at 220. And I was like, all right. But like we had planned opening at 203 and then 214 and then 231. So we went from 214 to 220, and it was too little of a jump. It was easy. Like I watched my video over and over, and I was like, yeah, I should have put like 10 more pounds on that bar. Like, but it's okay, you know. That's all right. It was, now I know, and like I think now he's gonna like be able to trust me a little bit more. Hopefully, I mean, it takes time. Like any relationship you build with anybody, you know. So
100%. Like especially being your first like big meet, it's like he's trying to make sure that you stay in the pocket and quote in the pocket, whatever. And it's like as you work with the same coach, that's why I be telling people like if you like a coach and you click, like stay with that coach because you're gonna want that experience and that relationship to help you with the next meets. And it takes a couple to like really feel it out.
Yeah, and I plan to keep him for as long as I'm like powerlifting, you know. So it's nice. Like he's great, and like he's been to every single national since they ever started nationals. So he's like, what better person to have than LS? Like he has all the experience. Yeah, they were arguing in the back. The handler, he's my teammate, my handler and him. And then I looked at Derek and I was like, how many nationals you been to? He's like, I think this is my second or third one. And I was like, coach, how many you been to? He's like, since they started them. And I was like, Derek, how are you? I'd be quiet. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So he's been to like 8, 9 or whenever they started nationals. LS has been there, dude. So like I remember in the equipment check, the ref was like, what's this? It was the McClain Circle competition shirt. And I was like, I don't think it's approved. Like I told him, I was like, I don't think it's approved, but I can go get like an A7 shirt. And he was like, is this McClain? And I was like, yeah, it's LS. He was like, you're good. Tell him I said hi. And I was like, oh, and he didn't check the rest of my stuff. I was like, okay. Well, I got it like that. So I started putting my stuff away. And I was like, that was so freaking cool. So I went and I told him, I was like, hey, Bill says hi. And he was like, oh, Bill, I love Bill. And I don't know, he started going off about all these stories. And I was like, man, you've been around. He was like, I know everybody. He was talkative, man, talking to everybody. So
yeah, he knows everybody, man.
Everybody knows him. That's what it is.
Word, which is really cool. What makes me laugh is go back to when you said, oh, I'm finally benching over 200, as if you've been working for years to bench over 200. You've been working for a year to bench over 200. Like, I'm like, I just started benching 200s. Like,
shut up. So sorry. But like, it was so embarrassing because like, so the guys, they fuck around with me a lot at the gym I go to at TSS, but they're like, Jazz, you look like you can bench 225, so why can't you? I was like, man. So I remember like I need to bench something over 220 like this meet, you know. I got 220, right? But I was like, I need to because they're right. Like my back is freaking enormous, so it's like I look like I can bench that much, so why can't I? You know, it was like more about like a pride thing, I guess. Like I need to get there, you know. And then I look at Claire's bench, Christian's bench, Chandler's bench, Gabby's bench, and I'm like, man, their bench is like up there, you know. So the only way I can compete is if I got my bench up there. Had my bench been the same, I would have been like in 8th or 9th place, you know. So I think my bench really saved me this time around.
That's crazy. So, you're gonna be a big bencher.
You know, to appreciate the kilos where you can add them, like
for real.
Yeah.
Deadlifts. Is this your least favorite lift? Deadlift?
No, I don't know. They've been feeling a little weird. I don't know why. They've been feeling a little weird. Like I had some hip pain during the prep, but it's because I think my frequency of everything was like not like messing my hips up because they're fine. They were just like tired. Like I was squatting 3 times a week, benching 3 times a week, and I was deadlifting twice. So it was like a lot on my hips because my squat is pretty narrow. And I use a lot of leg drive on bench now that I finally figured it out. And my deadlifts, like I was deadlifting, I think back to back because I don't work out on weekends. Don't ask me to work out. Don't ask me to lift weight. Don't ask me to do nothing on a weekend because I'm chilling or, doing errands or whatever. So I train primarily Monday, Tuesday, depending on like how heavy and stuff my deadlifts and squats are. I'll like move my rest day around either Wednesday or Thursday, and then I'll like my SBDs or whatever I do on Fridays. So I remember this prep, like it was bugging, like it was really bugging. Even if I gave myself an extra day in between or not, like my hips were like, yeah, you're not deadlifting the secondary day, even though it was light beltless work. It was still like I would get done deadlifting and I could like barely lift my hip flexor. I was like, I'm tired. So yeah, I was dealing with that, and then like I was failing deadlifts so many times this prep, like it didn't feel good at all. So the fact that I even did 440 two times in one day was crazy to me because I have failed 440 two to three times in this prep alone. Like it does not even get past my knees. So the fact that I pulled it twice, even if the first one was with a hitch, was crazy to me. I was like, wow, like this is cool. So officially, I pulled 200 kgs twice in one day.
Which is really is insane.
Now that I thought about it, I didn't think I wasn't really happy. Like you got fit, I was like, whatever. I wanted podium, right? Like, But then like I go back and think about it, and I was like, there was like 13 people in my weight class. Like I'm sure everybody would be grateful for fifth, and I was like, why am I being negative? Like, gotta be grateful. So I had to like change my thinking around. It was quick too. It was like within 5 minutes. I was like upset and I was like, whatever. Like I could have done better. I wanted 500 keys. Da, da, da. And I was like, what are you doing? Like you just did this. You PR'd 55 pounds, like, and you placed fifth out of like 13 people. Like I'm sure all those other 13 people would love to be where you're at. So just be grateful and then just go back into the gym and do what you love. Like no big deal. I was like bothered that I didn't like place on the podium because it was a possibility, with the projected numbers that I wanted to get. I was like, and I would have gotten second on body weight had I hit like 500, like I was thinking like that. And I was like, you could do if, ands, and buts all day long. You didn't do what you had to do when you got there, but you at least got fit. Your first national meet, like I was beating myself up and I was like, stop, like be grateful and just take what you can get. Cause that's how you get caught up with like the greediness and like I wanted this. No, I was like, be grateful, move on, pick your next meet, and then just, kind of build off of that. So it was a quick like snap out of it. Don't be negative.
And I love that because you're right. You have to remember, like, first of all, it's your first freaking nationals. Like, you did so well. And man, it's like you had a competitive weight class.
It was crazy. Really I didn't realize how competitive it was until I sat down and thought about it afterwards. I was like, man, people were missing and like places were like moving like this. So now I know why LS was like, no, we're playing it safe. Because he was like, just make your lifts. Like, just worry about making your lifts. Because if you hitch again, you're not going to get that deadlift. You're going to be in like seventh. And I'm like, oh. So now I'm like, with his expertise and his wisdom, like he knew what he was doing. Over here, I'm upset for no reason. Like, so it was fun. I'm super excited for like next year, and then just competing again in December. So that's going to be great.
Ooh, what's December?
Yeah, December 11th is the Texas Cup here at Texas Strength Systems. So I'm doing another like local meet. But I love it here because you can do like your national records and stuff because we have national judges. Like, like Texas Strength Systems is the hub for like Texas powerlifting. So it's like, what better place to do it? So I'm going to do it here with a friend. She's in the Air Force and she's coming back to compete at that meet. So I really want to do it with her. And yeah, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Dude. And like, you're so lucky. Like the fact that you're like in Texas, because Texas is like where so many strong freaking people are, man. So like to be able to do a local meet and know that it's still a competitive local meet is like so fun.
It's super fun, dude. It's super fun. Like I want to get best lifter this time because I haven't gotten best lifter the 2 times that I've competed locally. I'm like, oh, I missed the other one by like a point or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get best lifter here because there's still like a good amount of competition. And then like just training there is so like, I'm so grateful for it because you have these competitive spirits everywhere. Like it's like everyone wants everyone to do well, but everyone's kind of like in their zone. Like I'm doing this, and it's people tell me they're intimidated to go and work out there. And I'm like, it's not intimidating. It's just that everyone is like competitive. We're always on edge, like trying to compete and like trying to do better. It's like a healthy competition, but I do sense like the vibe at that gym. It's very competitive, It's a good competition though. I love it. Like I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Like, I love that it pushes you because, like, literally, so I'm in Jersey and, like, I don't feel like I have that. So, like, I feel like I always have to push myself to, like, just change my playlist to get more in the zone. And, like, I think especially, like, when I'm doing interviews with people and I hear people like you who are, like, in Texas with, like, competitive people. And, like, I just did an interview with, like, Kay Webb, who's in Virginia, and Virginia is competitive.
I love her so much. And
She's cool.
I want to go to Virginia. Like, I want to experience powerlifting over there. Like, everyone talks about it. Like, and I met people from Virginia that were down for a USPA meet, the national one. And they were at Texas Strength Systems and they were talking to me like, oh, we love this gym. You know, and I was like asking them, I was like, is the shop gym just as big? They're like, dude, it used to be a Costco. I'm like, oh, so we ain't shit. And they're like, no, not really. Like, yes, you are, but not really. Like, ours is bigger and it's so nice there. And I'm like, I want to go and like do a competition there.
Yeah.
Like, they look so lit.
Saber is crazy.
And then he's doing money meet. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was thinking about telling LS I want to do that one, but I'd rather just wait and give my body that break until December because I was struggling this prep. I was really struggling. Like, I told LS, I think I cried a good 6 times the whole prep.
Yeah. I did see you posting, and I think it was like 2 weeks out. It's like, you know, when everything, it hurts and you're dying. That's when everyone's pissed off, by the way. You're not alone. I was like watching you and I was like, oh, I'm not the only one who's pissed off and in pain.
I don't know what was going on. I was so irritable. Like, I would at work when someone would like need something, I'm like, what? Like, what do you, and I had to like reel it back. Like, I had to like tell everybody before I even talked to them, like, look, if I ever give any attitude, I'm sorry. I'm just really tired. I'm in a prep for a powerlifting meet. Like, it's really tough. It's been tough. Like, I would give the whole spiel to everybody, like every day. That's how it had to turn into. Because if not, man, I look like a bitch. Like, now I was just like walking around mad all the time. So I'm tired. I can't lift what I want to lift. Like, no matter how much I slept, it didn't feel good. Like, it was bad. No matter how much I ate, I was like, it was irritable. I was irritable.
Like, for real, like, I was listening to a King of the List podcast, and he was talking about how there was a post, I forget, I saw the post, but I forget. But I know it was like Taylor Atwood and like Russell Orhe and someone else, they're talking about like how they're just like annoyed and pissed off 2 weeks out, and how they were just irritable and they want to just like be done with the world. And I was like, yo, like, we are all feeling the same way. I think it was the first prep where I literally had to stop and be like, if I don't like pray, I'm going to like just kill everybody. I was like, let me just literally stop and like be like, God, can you give me a little bit of patience before I murder my family? Then they can't watch the computer. Girl. Like, and I live alone. I'm gonna get mad at people on the phone. Like,
how you know it's bad. When I like get a call from my mom, I'm like, oh, what does she want? Like, answer it, and then she says something, and I'm just like, Mom, like, just the amount of patience. Like, I remember I was like, I need to give myself 2 extra days off. I still had like 2 training days to do, and I literally messaged LS and I was like, I cannot lift another weight right now. So I went to my apartment pool. I got super tan before I even went to Florida because I was like, I need to just disconnect. So I was like, I had logged out of Instagram for like momentarily, and then I was just like not looking at it because I was like, I don't want to see nobody lifting weights. I don't want to hear about lifting weights. I don't want to lift the weight. I don't want to do anything. I was just out in the pool, listening to music, chilling, sleeping in the water. Like, it was great. And then I went back to my taper days, and then I flew out, and I felt way better, like spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all of that. Like, I just had to collect myself somewhere because it was bad.
Yeah, I think people underestimate like how important it can be to like maybe not follow everyone so closely right up to me. I think I learned that myself this meet. Like, I was paying attention to everyone and their mom. And like, it's a combination of it, yes, the podcast, but also like I'm competitive too. So I'm like looking at like my competitors, and I'm looking at I'm like, ooh, how much do you lift? And I'm watching Sam do her, I'm like, keep talking about Sam do her beltless squat or deadlifts. And I'm like, you know what?
Girl, you can talk.
Like, I put the phone, I wish I could say I got off Instagram completely, but I did have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna set a timer for a few hours and like not go on it before, because if I have to see someone else lift heavier than I can lift right now, but my hip hurts. My hip also was hurting a little bit, not crazy, but a little bit, teeny bit. And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm angry. Everything hurts. I'm dying. I'm like, I want a massage. I don't want to pay for the massage. You got to pay for the plane ticket to get there. So I'm like, I'm poor. I can't even get a massage, bro.
No, it was bad. I remember giving attitude to people at the airport too, who's like, they took away some of my protein shakes, and I was like, it's a protein shake. Like, what's wrong with that?
Oh Lord, did you take it to the in your travel bag?
I took it in my carry-on because that's what I was gonna eat. That's what I was like. And there were oh my gosh, I'm in love with Premier Protein, but they had these chocolate peanut butter, and I love Reese's. I'm a slut for chocolate and peanut butter. Like, oh my gosh. So they took those away, and I remember like I got upset. I started like tearing up. I was like, "You're not gonna like." I was gonna eat that for today. He was like, "I'm sorry, I can't let you have it." And I was like, "Fine." I was like, "Is that all you need?" And he was like, "Yeah." I got my bags and I like ran to my gate, and I was like,
"Oh man, girl, I'm sorry." It's something to learn though. Like I legit had to bring. I made like a breakfast sandwich, and I was like, "Okay, no liquids. Let me bring this with me. It'll be cold by the time I eat it. I don't care. I need food." Like.
Yeah, definitely. So it was tough, but I don't fly often too. So I was like, like what the heck? I had to throw my gallon of water away. Like, oh my gosh. So where do I refill it? And I was like late to my flight. So I had like no water. I was like hungry.
Lord.
My protein shakes. I was like barely had any coffee in me. I was like, this sucks. So, but we made it.
You made it. Did you have to water cut?
I was like at 70 the Saturday before leaving out. So on Saturday, I started like drinking more water. It was like a small water load. And then I was like, I cut most of my carbs the days I weren't training. And then I cut out fiber to like reduce the amount of like water that was held in my guts. So I was just drinking water. I was still eating pretty well. I was just drinking water. And then I think the day before the meet, I was like weighing 68 and I was like, all right, I'm good. But then I showed up at 67. I was like, well.
I was about to say, I thought I saw you weighing light.
I weighed in light. I did not expect it. I was like, okay, I am 148 then. Right, cool, okay. But the meet in February was nuts. I weighed 144. I was like, my scale here at home was broken because my scale here told me I was 148. When I got to the meet, I was like 144. So I weighed in at 65. I was like, I could have done a cut and I could have been 63.
I literally a little bit of me thought about that, but I was like, you know what though? Like first national, just chill. Like, but are you thinking about it? Or are you trying to like fill out 69?
No, I'm not thinking about it. Right now, I weigh a good 156 solid. Like I'm pretty heavy right now. It feels good.
Yes.
Took a break off of that. And then so I didn't know that my boyfriend was like certified in doing like macros and nutrition until like recently. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? So he's like, I didn't want to like make you think about macros and nutrition before your meet. And he's very like supportive, and he's also very like considerate of like, I didn't want you. He's like, I knew you were already kind of like freaking out about your weight because I was at 70. Like I was like, why am I not dropping any weight? Like what the hell's going on? So he was like, I already knew you were freaking out, so I didn't want you to start thinking about that and then like wanting to hop on a new plan and what if it doesn't work? Because you know how macros work, you have to like figure out what works for you. So he was like, well, worry about that after next. So now I'm on like a macro thing with him, and it's been feeling better. Like I feel more energized throughout the day and I feel good. But we're gonna work that out slowly, and I'm planning to drop as much as I can without being a 63, but still being strong. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Nice.
I naturally like to be like 148, 147. So, yeah.
Solid. Yeah, I literally like. I think I weigh 148 right now. Don't listen to this, coach, please. Nutrition coach.
We need a break, man. Like it was tiring, and I was following you on your water cut too, and I was like, man, that must suck. And then I was like, I think I have to do it too. Damn it. So I'm like, shit. Okay, we'll do it.
Yo, let me tell you, people hit me up like, yo, you forgot to post the rest of your water cut. I'm like, no, 3 days out, I made some mistakes. We had to make some adjustments. And I was like, I refuse to post this right now. Like, I was like, I'm not going to post as I panic that I messed up and don't know what to do. I was like, and honestly, it was fine. I kind of panicked for nothing. Like, yeah, we had to adjust it, but it was fine.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm not in real time posting about how I messed up. I'm just gonna talk to you about it in a podcast another day. Like, I was like, everyone hit me up about it. I was like, I didn't forget. Leave me alone. Have a nice day. God bless.
She's just like, look, we don't talk about our mistakes, okay? You just fix them.
About it after, but in real time, I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm overweight right now. Like, hey, I'm overweight. Smile face. Like, what?
Yeah, like no, you're not gonna do that. So I totally get it. I was freaking out. I was like, I might have to do a small water load. Fuck. And I remember like the third day of drinking 2 gallons of water, I was like, I'm fucking tired of water. Like,
Yo,
breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. I was like, I'm tired.
Yup. I will tell you though, a secret. Cause were you drinking just plain water?
Yeah.
Yo, my secret this prep, I bought a bunch of Mios, which has no salt in them, and they're like 0 calorie. And I was just like squirt, 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 because I'm sick of, like, I've done the water cuts for 6 years now. I'm over it. So yeah, I do the water cut, but I was like, I'm flavoring all my water, because if I don't, I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm burnt out from 6 years.
Have you ever thought about just doing 69? A meet at 69?
Oh no, girl, I comfortably, so I'm heavy right now because I've been eating. I'm chilling. I'm gonna chill right now. I'm chilling. But no, before I did an intentional bulk just for the sake of building muscle. I was walking around 140 without trying.
Wow.
And my weight class is 138.6.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, I just saw you post and like you look really built, and I was like, she doesn't look like she weighs that much. So even though you say you do, I'm like, you don't. But I feel like you probably, I don't know, like you wouldn't look any different.
I wouldn't look really different, but honestly, like getting down to 138, like even though I'm saying I messed up the water cut a little bit, like I lose weight as long as I'm tracking. I lose weight very consistently. I've never had an issue where they're like, oh no, it's hard. Like it wasn't, like my cut was not hard. My actual cut, not the water, but my cut was very easy. I got to eat like almost 2,000 calories a day while cutting.
That's what I'm at now. So
yeah.
But I told Bay, I was like, look, I want to be at 147. So like, if I want to binge and go eat a burger, I can do that, and it won't put me at risk of like being over, like, or going to 72 kilos. Like I'm at 70 right now, and that's fine. But it's like I want to get down to like 67, so I can like be comfortable and like eat burgers. And that's my thing. I love burgers, Philly cheesesteaks, like fries, like all the grease, and that like I would do it like every other week. And I was like, I don't feel like I can comfortably do that without like triggering some type of like disorder. Because I like did deal, trigger warning, I did deal with stuff like that a while back when I was in like my bodybuilding phase. Like I was I remember this one episode that it was just like really bad. I was like, I gotta do something, because I like ate a whole thing of like Chips Ahoy, like a whole thing, and I like tried to make myself throw it up, and I was like, that was my lowest point, and I was like, I can't be like this with food anymore. So I like slowly started making changes, and then I remember like powerlifting kind of saved me out of that. And then I remember after February, LS was like, you're too light, so put on weight. And I was like, all right. So I just started eating more gradually, and that's how I was able to fill out the class. And like it did help me stronger, but I didn't feel like good. I was like, I feel being, like I don't know, I can be at 148 and be fine. So I want to like gradually move down so I can like train at that number, so I'll be fine. So we'll work on that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I think it's cool that, like, because I've heard it from quite a few people, because when you come from bodybuilding, man, like even if you didn't compete still, it's like it's all about how you look. So it makes it really challenging to have a good relationship with food. And I feel like everybody who I've spoken to who was like really into bodybuilding for powerlifting, they're like, yo, powerlifting like helped me so much, because I was just hungry and I had disordered and I was just like, my body image was terrible.
Yeah.
What was that?
Thinking about food 24/7, like it was unhealthy. Like
yeah, and like powerlifting is just like about being strong. Like yes, if you're competitive in the weight class, but like honestly, it's like you compete probably max 3 times a year. You get to like chill and enjoy food. You don't have to cry about having abs. I'm like, I only have abs when I weigh in, and that's it. And I'm okay with that, because I like cute. I take a picture every time. I'm like, hey, here they are, and they're going back and hiding until the next meet, and that's it. Like I'm not even trying for you, because I want my ice cream, I want my foods, I want my rice.
I want to enjoy life right now. I totally get it. So on the program I'm on now, like I told LS, I was like, I want you to make me yoked. So I'm like on a bodybuilding thing, so I'm super sore. Like I'm super sore doing 10s, 8s, 7s, AMRAPs. Like I'm sore, man.
So many repetitions.
It's exciting though. It's something different. I was so tired of what I was doing over and over and over, and I was like, dude, if I have to do another 4 weeks without all these accessories, like I'm going to lose it. Like,
Nah, bodybuilding is fun when you're throwing it into powerlifting. It's fun then. It's not fun when competing in it.
no,
In my opinion, I never competed in it, so I can't say that. But you know what I mean.
it is mentally really tough. I talk to a lot of people that they're like, it's really mentally tough, like to go through that. So I don't want to
For bodybuilding.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not putting myself through that. It's powerlifting's already mentally tough as it is. So yeah, and people say it's really mentally tough because you have to like force yourself to like, I'm not hungry. Like I'm, like you have to really love it to do it, and I don't.
That's the thing. It's like, it's just, you have to have the passion for it. You got to dig deep when you work. Like, I'm watching my friend. She's competing in wellness tomorrow. I am watching her. And like, she's awesome. And she looks great. But I'm like, I know you're so hungry. Like, I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes.
You have to love it. You have to love it. That's the only way you can do it. Because other than that, man, it is tough. It is a tough sport. That is a tough sport mentally.
Oof. And then I got to send pictures to coach and look good. Like, you should see, I look like a crackhead when I send in my freaking like progress photos to my coach. I'm like, I mean, I look kind of decent, right? I'm like, I have to look good when I do these check-in photos. Oh no, forget it.
Yeah,
forget it. I can't even wear 2-inch heels, bro. I can't even wear 2-inch heels. I'm a mess. Like, I'm not made for it. Like, God was like, you are not.
I sprinted heels, I'll run away.
Oh my gosh. I tried taking like heel dancing classes once in my life for like a month, and I was like, I can't even walk in them. I can't even walk.
You're gonna be like breaking your ankles, walking like sideways.
And like the girl, she was like, you gotta loosen up. Like, I'm a powerlifter. Like, I'm stiff. Like, I brace. Like, what do you mean loosen up? Like, she's like, I get more flexible. I'm like, forget it. It's ain't for me. Like,
that is so funny. That is so funny. Yeah, I wake up stiff every day now, for sure.
That's what the sport does, man.
Woo. We love
oh my
it.
God. Do you think you'll do the Arnold's? Last question for you.
Oh, I don't even know when that's happening. Everyone's asking. I'm like, I don't even know when it's happening.
Yeah, it should happen March 2022.
Oh, well, then if I'm doing the December meet, that's enough time to do the Arnold's. I mean, I hope so. LS hasn't talked to me about it yet. I don't know if he wants me to do it.
Well, it's really early, so I can. No, you don't get invited. You have to. So you have to make an amateur total, which I'm sure you did, and then when you see like there's going to be a specific date and time where openings happen, and you need to know it in advance because you have to be like on your laptop. So if it says like, like 11 p.m. EST, like January 2nd or something, like that's when signups happen. Yeah. You got about 90 seconds till it's sold out. You got about 90 seconds. Yeah, so you got to be like.
I did it for Nets, so I could probably do it. Autofill.
It's exactly. Autofill is the exact same thing. Nice. It's the exact same thing.
I'll probably try to get in. It's in Ohio?
Columbus, Ohio.
I always wanted to do it because it looks so fun. It's like probably like a nationals again. So
dude, it's a blast. It's like, which one's better? Well, compared to this year's nationals, because that was your first experience, you're gonna think that Arnold's is more fun. Arnold's is a blast.
I think a lot of people said that like Nats this year was really underwhelming because it wasn't like as full as it usually is, and I was like, yeah, but it was still overwhelming for the lifters, but it was underwhelming experience. I remember like it wasn't what I expected either. I was like, I thought it would be more hype, you know.
Just wait till next year. Hopefully, if it's normal, you'll be a lot of hype. Plus, you'll be prime time. Prime time is real hype. This was not the hype. I mean, again, I'm happy we got to even show up. So I'm thankful for it, but it was very like, it was like a big local meet or something.
It didn't feel special, like, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
It was still incredible.
Girl, thank you for coming on and talking to me.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun. I love you so much. I can't. I remember meeting when I met you. I was like, she's so freaking cool. Like, I love her so much.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I'm freaking her out. I'm like, hi, Jasmine. She's like, who?
Oh.
Oh my God. But dude, tell the people your Instagram handle so they can follow you, and then tell them your coach's Instagram handle.
Ooh, all right. Mine is at jazzlips_69kg. And if you meet me in person, say Jasmine, not Jazz Lips. It irks me a little bit. Anyway, LS McClain is LS McClain at LS McClain all together. Yep. And his name is LS. It doesn't stand for nothing. It's LS. It's really, really freaking cool. But
for real?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I would have never guessed that.
I've asked him, I was like, is your name like Leonard? Like, he's like, no, it's LS.
Just the letter L and the letter S.
Letter S, yeah. His daughter's name is gonna be Jackson. Jaxsyn. That is so cool. Jackson McClain. Like that just has a ring to it. I'm so excited for that little girl, man.
I'm excited too. I mean, that is I think because she's gonna be called Jax.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stupid. I'm just thinking about that now. I'm like, that's such a cool like nickname with an X. Like
X, yeah. So cool.
God.
Like that just sounds like a girl that's gonna take over worlds in powerlifting. Like
absolutely. Oh my God, the goat's daughter coming out. It's gonna be like his second generation.
Yeah, I'm so excited to meet her, dude.
All right, girl. Well, have a good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, guys. If you like this video, chances are your friends will too. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and send it over to a friend. And make sure you comment below and let us know your favorite takeaway.